more and more spoiler-filled interviews talking about things that were in the film and, more importantly, things that were not in this film or Infinity War. Now, in a new interview with The Hollywood Reporter, screenwriters Marcus and McFeely have revealed a new deleted scene that they almost had in Infinity War. Basically, while talking to THR, they said that when writing Infinity War and Endgame, they had a 60-page document that kind of outlined different moments they wanted to include, different characters, and different story arcs, and they said directly that there were several scenarios using the Nova character. Specifically, they said, quote, "I remember going through several scenarios of Nova. Thanos could come and kill all of the Nova Corps except one guy, Richard Rider, who then becomes, I think in that scenario he would become the Herald, kind of like the Hulk was in Infinity War when he crashed into the Sanctum Sanctorum. Someone who could come out and tell people Thanos was coming." So if you guys know of the comics, in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, the Silver Surfer is actually the Herald that comes crashing into the Sanctum Sanctorum and warns Doctor Strange of Thanos' pending arrival. Obviously in the film they used the Hulk instead because it made sense, I guess, within the context of that film. Heimdall used the last of his energy to summon the Bifrost to send the Hulk, Bruce Banner, back down to Earth so he could warn Doctor Strange and Wong that Thanos was coming. But it is quite interesting that they were considering at least using Nova at one point to fill that role, and it would have made sense because one of the scenes that we didn't get to see in Infinity War was Thanos getting the Power Stone off Xandar. We know that the sequence was scripted in which Thanos would come to Xandar, wipe out the entire Nova Corps, and leave the planet with the Power Stone, and that's how it would lead into him getting the Space Stone from Loki and the Asgardians' refugee ship. So it's entirely conceivable that this whole 60-page document that they're talking about with tons of ideas and characters could get theoretically reused somewhere down the line, and the idea of Thanos destroying the Nova Corps, thus leaving someone like Richard Rider still around to take on the mantle of the Nova character, could make a ton of sense and make for his official MCU origin. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? Are you bummed out that we didn't get to see Nova fill that role of the Herald in Infinity War, and where do you think Nova could show up in the future? We recently talked about some rumblings from our friends over at MCU Cosmic that dropped the report that Nova is reportedly back in development at Marvel Studios for a solo feature. For more updates on whatever happens with Nova and everything Marvel and pop culture, be sure to subscribe to HN Entertainment.